If you thought things couldn't possibly get any worse for Donald Trump, I've got news for you. They absolutely can. And they just did, thanks to none other than his wife, or wife. At this point, who even knows what's in Melania's contract anymore? But what we do know is that she's just made Trump's life significantly more difficult, in a way that even I didn't think was possible. This latest move from Melania could very well be Donald Trump's worst nightmare, and we're going to break it all down. Before we get into how Melania may have just set off a chain reaction that could spell the end of Trump's presidency, make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps support our work. Now, before diving into the shocking new details about Melania, let's talk about another one of Donald Trump's biggest fears that ties directly into this. The Jeffrey Epstein scandal, which Congressman Thomas Massey just exposed some startling new information about right here.
He's calling it the Schumer shutdown, but I'm calling it the Epstein recess. Not only are we shut down, we're in recess, and that's unconventional, unprecedented in the 13 years I've been in Congress. The other thing that Speaker Johnson established a precedent on himself. Until Speaker Johnson had been Speaker, I never had observed this, but he swore into members during a pro forma session. They happened to be Republicans. And now he's has no real good reason for why he's not swearing in the Democrat during a pro forma session. Okay, to the Epstein thing. One of my favorite memes on the internet, well, before I get there, let me set it up. The president himself has called the Epstein files a hoax. And we know it's not a hoax. My press conference with Ro Khanna involved almost a dozen survivors of Epstein's sex trafficking ring. And they were there to tell us there are other men who they were trafficked to. And they've together collectively, they know what some of those names are. In fact, through their lawyer has informed me there are at least 20 names, and he described their professions, which I said to the FBI director, Kash Patel, when he was there. But getting back to one of my favorite memes on the internet was, it's too bad Epstein killed himself before he realized this was a hoax.
Yeah.
Like, if it's a hoax, why are they resisting releasing the files?
We're officially in what can only be described as the Epstein shutdown. This isn't just about the government grinding to a halt. It's about Donald Trump using that chaos to give himself cover and distance, both literally and politically. With the government closed, there are fewer reporters on the Hill, less oversight, and far less scrutiny on the real story, the Epstein scandal. Meanwhile, Congress is paralyzed, and Speaker Mike Johnson continues to block the swearing in of Representative-elect Grover, who would be the 218th signature needed to bring the Epstein files discharge petition to the House floor. That's not an accident. It's part of the plan. And as if that weren't enough, Trump has physically distanced himself from the country, jetting off on a series of state visits, something no other president has ever done during a government shutdown. The effort to run from accountability is so obvious that even Fox News has started pressing Republicans like Mike Johnson about why he's refusing to seat Grover. We'll look at that Fox segment in just a moment, right before we dive into how Melania's explosive revelation ties directly into all of these latest Epstein developments.
Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva. There's now a lawsuit about this. They say there's no dispute about her election or her qualifications, and add this. Speaker Johnson wishes to delay seating Ms. Grijalva to prevent her from signing a discharge petition that would force a vote on the release of the Epstein files and/or to strengthen his hand in the ongoing budget and appropriations negotiations. Why hasn't she been sworn in? What's your response to the lawsuit?
All this is so ridiculous, and we could take 30 minutes and talk about all this, but Rep-elect Grijalva will be sworn in as soon as we get back to regular session. Remember, it's the Democrats who shut the Congress down, so we can't do that.
Can you not swear her in, though? when you're not operating in regular...
There is a precedent for doing a pro forma session swearing in, but we're not engaging in regular business right now. And what I'm doing is following the Pelosi precedent in the past when she was Speaker, and you had representatives elected during special elections, special situations. When Congress was on recess or out, she would wait until the regular session to do it. I'm doing the exact same thing. But the Epstein thing is a complete red herring. It's a distraction from what's going on right now and them causing harm to the American people with the shutdown. The Epstein estate documents are out. The Epstein files are out. 43,000 pages so far, more on the way. Subpoenas are being complied with. The House Oversight Committee, which is filled with some of the biggest guard dogs in Congress on the right and the left, Republican and Democrat, are dug in deeply. In the last 2 weeks, while we've been on shutdown, they've released the flight logs, the personal financial ledgers, the daily calendars of Epstein himself. The lawyers are continuing to dig through and release all that. We're for maximum transparency, always have been. They're using this for a political issue, and it's patently obvious what's going on here.
All right, we wish you progress this week in getting this thing wrapped up.
Thank you.
Is Mike Johnson really still telling this same old tired lie that it is a Schumer shutdown? That it's a Jeff shutdown? Donald Trump has quite literally run away from the country, taking state visits, being the first president to ever do so in the middle of a shutdown because he wants to run away from all his problems, the economic turmoil that he has caused. Of course, Donald Trump wants to run away from the Epstein files, and Mike Johnson has really helped him do that, even though Fox is now asking about it. But someone who hasn't helped Donald Trump and avoiding conversation around Epstein is now his wife, Melania. Because after Donald Trump's biographer, Michael Wolff, was talking about Melania's relationship to Epstein, she sued Michael Wolff. That has all backfired. Yes, Donald Trump and his family, the most litigious in history it seems, are now getting a taste of their own medicine. It is bringing this Epstein scandal to the forefront again, and it's about to cost Donald Trump in a major way previously unthinkable. Michael Wolff launches bombshell lawsuit against Melania Trump over Epstein. The best-selling author Michael Wolff is suing Melania Trump in an unprecedented court case after she threatened to sue him for $1 billion. The author, who is the co-host of the Daily Beast hit podcast Inside Trump's Head, is accusing the First Lady of launching an assault on his free speech and trying to stifle legitimate inquiry into Jeffrey Epstein. The case is the first time Melania Trump has been sued as First Lady and appears to be the first time a president's wife has been subject of court action. Wolff is also asking the court for permission to question Melania and Donald Trump under oath about their dealings with Epstein. Wolff's attorney filed the case in the New York State Court late Tuesday after the First Lady's legal team sent him a letter threatening a lawsuit for over $1 billion in damages. Melania accused Wolff of making false, defamatory, and lewd statements, and a letter from her attorney saying that he had made extremely salacious allegations that have reached tens of millions of people worldwide. The letter from Brito demanded that he retract the statements, including that Epstein had claimed Melania first slept with Trump on the late pedophile's private jet or faced being sued for at least $1 billion. Wolff is using so-called anti-SLAP laws to the case. The laws ban powerful people from using legal action to shut down journalism, which are known as strategic laws against public participation. Wolff said bringing the case was a difficult decision and said, "I do not want to be in a lawsuit, but I'm also a journalist and have been one for over 40 years. I've written 4 books about Donald Trump and have never been sued." Mrs. Trump's threatened lawsuit is what lawyers call a strategic lawsuit against public participation, a SLAP suit. Its purpose was to intimidate and silence me, as Donald Trump has done to so many news organizations and reporters. Fortunately, New York has an anti-SLAPP law. This law protects people sued for making statements involving matters of public concern. And in order to avail myself of this protection, I choose to begin an action against her rather than have her threats hanging over my head indefinitely. Wolff is asking the court to shut down Melania Trump's threats and pay punitive damages, and to allow him to question her and her husband under oath about their relationships with Epstein. These threatened legal actions are designed to create a climate of fear in the nation so that people cannot freely or confidently exercise their First Amendment rights, he says in the suit. The threats are also intended to shut down legitimate inquiry into the Epstein matter, which the Trumps and their collaborators have at every turn sought to impede and suppress. The lawsuit alleges that Melania's threat of legal action against the author is intended to impede and chill future reporting and writing that Mr. Wolff has committed to doing regarding Epstein, Mr. Trump, and Mrs. Trump. In many respects, that is the primary purpose of these claims. The legal papers say Wolff alleges that the Lyle allegations Melania has made against him lack substantial basis in law or in fact and cannot overcome constitutional protections. The suit adds Mrs. Trump's claims are made for the purpose of harassing, intimidating, punishing, or otherwise maliciously inhibiting Mr. Wolff's free exercise of speech. Michael Bohl has done some truly remarkable investigative work, reporting that we've covered on this show time and time again, exposing key details about Trump, Melania, and Jeffrey Epstein. His work has been fearless, and it needs to continue. The chance to question both Donald and Melania Trump under oath about Epstein could be a turning point, and the media should be demanding answers. Reporters should be pressing Trump about this lawsuit and asking why Melania is allegedly trying to pressure journalists into silence over her potential connections to Epstein. But, of course, that likely won't happen. Because the moment anyone in the press dares to challenge him, Trump attacks their networks, just as he did last night when he accused Seth Meyers of committing a crime for offering him 100% negative coverage. Which always raises the obvious question, what part of this administration deserves praise? Prices are rising, trade and peace deals are non-existent. He's escalating conflicts, violating international law, and leaving chaos in his wake. From the economy to the environment to our collective sanity. What exactly does he expect applause for? This brings us to the larger issue at hand, free speech. For years, the right has claimed that progressives are the ones silencing people, labeling everything cancel culture. But what we're seeing from Trump's regime is far worse. A coordinated, state-backed assault on dissent. This administration has literally sent unmarked agents to detain protesters, disappearing people across state lines for expressing criticism, including of U.S. policy toward Israel or of Trump himself. That's not a culture war. That's authoritarianism. And that's exactly what President Obama warned about. Leaders who weaponize fear to suppress opposition and distract from their failures.
Masked ICE agents pulling in unmarked vans and grabbing people off the streets, including U.S. citizens. Don't vote, vote. Grabbing them on the suspicion that they don't look like real Americans. We've got Health and Human Services Secretary who opposes proven science and then peddles quack medicine. We've got a top White House aide who calls Democrats, the whole Democratic Party, domestic extremists. And then we've got some poor labor economist who got fired for accurately reporting bad job numbers that Trump didn't like. It's like every day is Halloween. Except it's all tricks and no treats. And here's the thing, New Jersey. It's not as if we did not see some of this coming. I mean, I'll admit, it's worse than even I expected, but I did warn y'all. I did. And you know what? Donald Trump warned you too. He told you what he was like and how he was going to act.
We can't allow this intimidation to go unchecked. And you know we're going to keep calling it out right here on this show. If you want to support that, make sure to hit the subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you made it all the way to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I will see you soon.